Greetings and welcome to Caribbean Vanguard. So, today I want to talk about gods on earth. But before I get into it, I want you to understand that I realize more than ever how convoluted, how congested things are. And it is like that for a reason. The things that are happening before our eyes are not supposed to be so clear cut. I know some of you have heard about the theater, the box. When you see old plays in the UK, or if you see a football game, you see the box where the owners, millionaires, the rich would sit there and they would have a bird's eye view of the stage or of the stadium, the field. Most people cannot afford to be there. They are not with the common people. They are sitting up high like gods. They are sitting above everyone else. Well, it's the same concept. It all plays into the same thing. Forever, or for a very long time, mankind has always been fascinated at the idea of God. Who is this great engineer? Where does everything come from? Where do we come from? And we have tried our best to make sense of it and then try to emulate it. So on earth, there are people who have set themselves up as gods. They realize by coming together, there are a lot more riches out there. There are a lot more land. There are a lot more people to rule over. So what comes to mind when you hear gods versus human? What comes to mind? Well, the first thing, and it's not in any particular order, is rulership, government, versus humans, where it is more of servant, members. And if you look it up, you would see these same things: bootlickers, inferior, a vassal. Humans borrow. They ask from God. God gives to humans. Humans receive from God. In return, humans give praise and do according to whatever laws the government put in place. The other thing is a source of morality. The gods decide what is good and what is bad, and they can change it when they see it fit to do so. Humans are to abide by those rules. They cannot set rules. They can set rules in their house, and the rules in their house must not go against the rules set forth by the gods, because the gods also can set rules in the houses of humans. When you think of God, you think of celestial, outer space, in the sky, out of reach, in the heavens, supreme rank and authority. That is how they continue to live to this day. The common people cannot see them most of the time because they are so out of reach. The governments, many of the governments that you see, are simply armies or angels of these gods. The armies you see, the police forces to exercise judgment and govern over the people. The scientists, the doctors, the lawyers are all disciples of this God. The people are not out in space or away. They are low in rank, common. And you will hear many politicians use these words. The common people. Gods are supposed to be immortal, ever living, never dying, don't decay, rule forever. Since mankind cannot live forever, and they're still trying to figure that piece out, set systems in place that will last forever, always on top, always on top. When you look at the colleges that are in place in many of your countries, the banks, they have been around many years. The same businesses, the same descendants of these businesses that ruled during the time of their oppression are still in place. Gods are omnipotent, have power and influence. When you have money and you have influence, you have armies, you have technology, then you have influence. So in this, they become omnipotent. Humans, on the other hand, are powerless. They're weak, feeble, incapable, impotent, because they have to rely on the supreme beings. When COVID vaccine hit, everyone looked towards the same direction for instructions. Those who wanted to execute and move forward by themselves couldn't do it. They had to wait for instructions and directions from the north. Gods are omnipresent. They are supposed to be everywhere. You have technology, you have television, you have internet, you have computers, you have smartphones, and all these things that make certain people aware of everything you do, everything that you have some type of interest in. It could be as simple as embassies in different places. It can be social groups that are going to countries that are considered poor and are doing their service. And the thing about it, the people working for these groups, most of them are doing it out of the kindness of their heart, not knowing that all they're doing is granting other people access so that they can do both good and bad. Everything in their eyes are considered good because it is furthering their agenda and furthering their rulership. But at the same time, it is about taking over in these places. The gods are also supposed to be or have the ability to be omniscience. They have the scientists, the doctors, and all this stuff. Want to know everything. You see, they have people make dolphins do certain things, make lions jump to fire. Best believe that the same way they understand these animals so well and know how to train them, the same way they use the pyramids of life to their advantage. They know what people need, they know what people want, and they take advantage of that. The fact that I'm seeing this and no one is saying anything about it. I mean, the folks who are working for these gods, the angels, because understand that some of the people that are supposed to be so good, Christian people and so forth, who are of the same lineage of these gods, they rather to see themselves in leadership. That is natural to them. So when you say, hey, this doesn't look right, then automatically raise a red flag in their eye. They're going to say, what do you mean if this doesn't look right? That we are on top, that we own these teams, that we own all these different organizations. On the flip side of omniscience, humans are looked at as ignorant unless you go and get education from the gods. You're uneducated unless you're certified by whatever system or education the gods has approved of. You're stupid and unfamiliar, untrained until you adapt to whatever they put in place. Also, you have omnibenevolence, perfectly just, all loving. These qualities are dependent on how good is understood, and they are the one who shape what good is. Things that were bad a few years ago are now considered good today. Some of these things were pushed on people little by little by little. And now you hear a lot of people say things like, mind your own business. Everyone love who they want, be who they want, and so forth. You know, everyone is simply minding their own business. However, the gods are not doing that. The gods continue to work together. They do not keep their head down and mind their own business. They have to look at their human population because they know that humans can be very evil. They know that, and they're not going to trust the humans as much as we trust them. So in order to maintain this rulership over the humans, there have to be some confusion, as I mentioned earlier. It cannot be a clear picture where I can look and see, oh, all the people who are humans are the common people look just like me. Another thing the gods do pretty good is recruit. They find out, and through cell phone, and that makes it even easier today, they find out who are the influential people, who are leaders, who are talented people that folks look up to, and they recruit these people. And many of the leaders that they didn't like when these leaders were alive, if they realize that these people are still very influential and so forth, and they could kind of mess with the narrative, then they make these people national heroes. And by doing that, they gain the loyalty of the followers. And many of us fall for that easily. Another is the fear tactic. The fear tactic. Wars, a boogeyman, crisis. You need to have all these type of stuff, the fear tactics, so that there can be saviors. When there are crises, they can fly in and provide because they have the money, they have the workers, they have the resources, they have everything to do that. Wars, rumors of wars, drugs and violence and so forth. Without those, then they can come off a bit irrelevant at times. Diseases. People don't want to unite as a group because they feel like if you do, then you're going to lose access to the science and the technology and so forth. But it doesn't have to be that way. You have the Jews who are very united, who are working very well, many of them. We can do the same thing. But what happened is that it's as if many of us are not able to walk and chew. It's like we can't be unified as a people and still be of a nation. You can still be proud of your nation and still be unified as a people and still not hate other people. There's nothing wrong with that. So like someone can be a proud Chinese, Asian, which they do, and they can still be a proud Grenadian, proud Nevisian. They can still do that. The same way you have people in the country who are Africans, of African descent. They can still be proud black people and still be proud of their nation and not have an issue with the Chinese and Asians who are living there. But it seems like anytime we try to act as if we are proud of something, even the people who mean good who are of other group, some of them cannot respect boundaries. They cannot watch you do things that was passed down by your ancestors because these things are supposed to be sacred. We turn these things into entertainment, and people who mean well should really not thrust themselves in every single thing. That's me personally. That's how I feel. If they do it, I'm not going to be mad, but I just feel there are some things that are supposed to be left untouched. So the bottom line of all of this is when the gods have issues, they come together to resolve their issues. With the humans, when there are issues, we look to the gods to solve our issues. They can create issues and combat issues, and they have generations of practice because their systems, as I mentioned, have not been broken, and we help to make them better. In fact, to remain gods, they must ensure that the humans don't know that they too can be gods. And to prevent them from becoming gods, they monitor them and they control the resources. They control the resources so that their children and children will continue to reign over you. Do not be naive. That's the way they're doing it.